Hey, 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 boys. It's that time again. It's time for your brother, your ace in the hole, your wild card, MGTOW Expat, to hit you with a new video from a land of freedom for the escaped Western prisoner, the land of milk and honey, known as Southeast Asia, more specifically, the Pearl, the Heart, the original empire, Kampuchea, also known as Cambodia, Colonel Kurt's country. The heart of darkness, the new wild, wild west, man's country. So what are we doing today? Speaking of man's country, kicking off a new channel called Expat Unleashed, because we are under attack by soy boys and the usual enemies, the big social media platform like the one hosting this video, the evil empire. And feminists are our traditional enemies, but lately it's just been a lot of soy boys, a lot of rainbow pills, and a lot of infighting. I'm not gonna swear yet, but on this new channel, Expat Unleashed, I'm not holding back like I have been on the original backup channel, because since we're under attack, we're evading fire here. We're dodging left and right, and then. We're taking fire, but we're dodging it, and I'm gonna keep on going, guys. I'm gonna do as many backup channels as I have to do. But the idea for this backup channel is I don't want to hold back so much like I have been on the original backup channel, MGTOW Expat 2, where I feel like I've had my gonads cut off, and just being real tame and safe. And not talking about anything controversial, basically travel videos so far. And I hate it. I hate it. I mean, the travel videos are something I like to do as part of my thing. But the main drive of my original channel was speaking from the heart and speaking truth to power, talking about what they don't want us to talk about. And that's not what I've been doing on the backup channel, because I feel like I've had these cut off by our overlords here on this platform. Our overlords who actually stole $100 from me this month. They took the original 30% off the top of the what do you call it? The super chat donations and ad revenue. They took the original 30% off the top, and then they took an additional $100 from me and from you, the people, the supporters that donated that money. You weren't trying to give it to them, you were trying to give it to me. You're trying to support this, trying to support us, you know? And they took from us. So, I'm going hard on this backup channel. Today, to kick it off, redoing the video that has been deleted and banned, where I'm talking about Ben Franklin's quote about who would trade a little bit of liberty in order to gain a little bit of security. You deserve neither liberty nor security, and you will lose both. That's what we're talking about today. But it started out as a viewer request video. A lot of it is about getting back in the game and what's the difference between Thailand and Cambodia for a new expat or just a traveler. So that's what it is. It was a viewer request video, and I'm redoing it because it got deleted. I originally put it out in two parts called Freedom or Security, Part 1 and Part 2. And I'm digging the new mic, the freedom of movement, and it's cool. I'm still getting used to that, and the new ways I can actually let you see me. Just kidding. But let's see. I like to fuck around. Okay, so the original video was in two parts, and the reason it got deleted was they said I was spamming. I was posting repetitive content or spam because it was in two parts. It was a 40-minute video, so I broke it up in two parts. I mean, everybody doesn't want to sit through 40 minutes, so I broke it up in two. I had two separate thumbnails. It was the same thumbnail, but one thumbnail said Part 1 clearly, and the other thumbnail said Part 2 clearly. Same picture, but it said Part 1, and that said Part 2. And the videos were not repeating myself. It was all one thing broken up in two. And it was not repeating anything. It was just part 1 and part 2. The same thumbnail, same title basically, except it said part 1 clearly and part 2. So they deleted part 2, and you know, that was a good video. So I'm redoing it today. That's what we're doing today to kick off this new channel, Expat Unchained. We'll see how long we can keep this up before they try to take me down, huh? Let's take a quick break while I look at my notes. And so, here we go. We're off. Kicking off the new channel, Expat Unleashed. Okay, so today's video comes to us from a repeat donation by an anonymous viewer and channel supporter. Sorry about the little glare on my glasses. I can't do too much about it right now. He's expressed to me, this supporter has expressed to me that he doesn't need me to make an edited and written out video in return for his donation. So I'm doing this in a new format today, just talking to the camera. He said he kind of prefers that. Here's what our anonymous MGTOW patron has to say. Hey, it's your anonymous buddy again. Go ahead and kick my ass, but I'll admit it. One important reason why I'm into Southeast Asia is the sexual relational training wheels that it offers. Women are women everywhere, yes. No nawalts nowhere. No unicorns nowhere. They don't exist. Remember that. Very important. It's good that he at least realizes this already, or he heard my previous videos. It doesn't exist. There is nowhere. Okay, I'll get to that later. Okay. No waltz nowhere. But in Southeast Asia, a fellow can be a nice guy with some money in his pocket and have himself a girlfriend experience, or 2 or 3. In my case, it's been years, and I know that's not healthy. I want to find out what happens when that part of myself is reactivated. Your comments, please, and in particular, your advice on doing this in Thailand versus in Cambodia, since you've been to both. Yes? Put that down. Yes, I have been to both. I've lived in both. I got married and divorced in Thailand. I learned the hard way. Before I was MGTOW, of course. I'm not an idiot that went MGTOW and then decided to go back on what he knows and what he learned. I didn't do that. I learned the hard way, and then I went MGTOW. So yes, I was married in Thailand. I learned the hard way that overseas women are not the answer. Let's take a pause while I get to this next part. And we're back. Okay, so I hope you don't mind. There are some parts where I'm just going to read my notes because it's true that when I write something down, I take my time to really think it out before I instead of just going randomly off the top of my head. Sometimes I will do, and sometimes I'll read these notes. So we'll mix it all together on this freedom or security redux. Okay. So to answer the viewer's question for the second time recording this video, and I think I'll record it as many times as I need to if they keep on trying to take it down for random, meaningless, nonsensical reasons. Okay, so to answer your question, I don't understand why guys allow themselves to be shamed about wanting to have sex without any drama or high cost. Why is it a bad thing to go to Southeast Asia where you can get easy sex and you can pay a little bit you want, or if you can just meet a lot of random girls who are excited to see you and excited to meet you, and they want to have sex with you because you have a lot of status here, and especially if you're a white man. They love it. They love you. They love mostly all Westerners, but especially the white guys. Oh yeah. So why is there a shame? The thing is, they want to keep you in the matrix. They want to keep this stigma about coming here. Thing is, there is a stigma about coming to Southeast Asia. They're trying to keep you in the matrix. When you say, hey, I'm going to Thailand, like, oh, why are you going there? You pervert. So it's like they don't want you to know that there are places where you are not treated like a dog. There's places like you're not treated like a pig or like livestock by our society and by Western women. They don't want you to wake up from this existence as livestock serving women's interests only, and they want to shame you. They'd be like, "Oh, you're disgusting for going there, you pig." So they want to keep you in that box and in servitude to women's needs at all times. They don't want you to be awakened. But there is no shame. There is no shame in wanting to have sex without any drama. We all want to have sex. Women want to have sex almost as much as men do. And the difference there is that women don't have to try to have sex. It's offered to them anywhere they go at all times, every day, all day. They don't have to try. They don't have to learn any game in order to have sex. Mainly they have to learn how to fend off guys, I guess. But it's easy for them. Guys, we have to make something of ourselves if we want to have sex with a woman, and we have to do a lot of work, especially in the West. Mainly in the West. We got to do a lot of work. We got to learn all the tricks, and it's a huge hassle. And pay a lot of money. And then these women claim not to be prostitutes. Well, mainly every single time you want to have sex with any woman, you've got to pay a lot of money, a lot of dating, a lot of games, a lot of manipulation. You got to make a fool of yourself and basically bow down before them to have sex, and you got to take a lot of abuse. You got a lot of manipulation, like I said, and you just want to have sex. You don't want to take abuse for it, and you don't want to bend over backwards and make a fool of yourself. So you come to a place where it's easy, and there's always a cost. Yeah, for vagina, there is always a cost, yes. But here, it's very cheap. And sometimes you can get it for free, yes. It's happened to me, of course. But there were still games of manipulation. But here, it's like the land of milk and honey, especially for the Western man, especially for the white Western man. Very easy. And why would you feel shame? Why would you allow yourself to feel shamed about wanting to have sex? Everybody wants to have sex, but men are dirty, dirty dogs if they want to have sex that's without making a fool of themselves. That makes you a dirty dog. Instead, you're not a dirty dog if you make an ass of yourself and go back on all of your most important convictions and bow down before a woman and treat her like a god in order to get laid. That makes you not a pervert. That's worse. It's like selling out on everything that's important in life just so you can get your dick wet. It's worse. This is more honest. This is more honest. So they don't want you to wake up from the matrix. They want to keep you in servitude, and when you come here, you wake up. You see there's a place where you're not treated like a dog, you're not treated like a pig or like livestock, and sex is pretty easy. So yes, you can have girlfriend experiences. Take a quick pause while I look at this next section. And I almost forgot something. Guys, don't bring your girlfriends to Southeast Asia, you idiots. What kind of an idiot does this? This is one of the worst possible things that any man can do. First of all, you're ruining your trip for yourself, and you're also ruining the country for all the rest of us that are here. And everybody else that's here, you're bringing those bitches with you. And they double down on their bitchcraft once they get here, because when you bring a fucking Western girlfriend with you, or your friend, your girlfriend is not really your girlfriend, but you really just want to bang her anyways, otherwise you wouldn't bring her with, and you're probably paying for her hotel and everything. You idiot. Don't bring your girlfriends here. That's like, instead of escaping from the Matrix, you're bringing the Matrix with you. Like, yeah, I'm going to go on a vacation, but I don't want to be a free man. I'm going to bring the Matrix with me so she can keep me in line. And I still have to work for her attention and approval. Yeah. And she's going to become even more of a bitch, because this is what happens. You start out like this. You're the man. Your sexual market value in America is down here. Her sexual market value is way up here. So you start out like that. And then you get to Southeast Asia, she goes, and your sexual market value goes, like you're like a movie star, man. You're way above her, and she's like nothing sexual market value wise here, because they have no value here, because you get much hotter, you get hotter women, or equally, at least equally as hot, that are not fucking bitches, and don't have entitled attitudes, and are not high maintenance, and are not really fucking expensive just to have sex. I mean, you don't have to make a fool of yourself to have sex with a woman from Southeast Asia. It's more like an equal thing, except you have a lot higher status, and then the Western woman coming here is crash and burn. So they double down on their bitchiness, because most of them, they double down on the bitchiness, and they try to show their status to all these other ladies and treat the other Southeast Asian women like shit to show that hey, I'm the Western woman. I'm feminized, and I know what I'm worth, and I'm worth it. And you girls here don't understand, because I'm a fucking bitch, and I deserve to be a fucking bitch. No, fuck you. Don't bring your girlfriends here, guys, you idiots. So you're ruining your trip for yourself, but you're also ruining the country and the whole place for the rest of us. Don't do it. Take a pause. Next section. Now waltz, or unicorns, that we know do not exist. So, I'm sorry that I have to keep on going over this, because some guys just can't get it. And I learned the hard way, as I said, so listen to me. Learn from other men's mistakes. I used to be sorry about that. Is that working? I don't know if it's on today. So I used to be the kind of guy that thought I had to learn from my own mistakes, and I've probably heard that in a movie somewhere, that I had to learn from myself. But learn from other men's mistakes is better, actually. So, there's some value in learning the hard way. Yeah, the school of hard knocks, but it's more smart and more productive for you in your life to learn from other men's mistakes, like my mistakes. Overseas women are not the answer. So, I'm very happy you realize that there are no now-waltz or unicorns anywhere in the world. Many guys just can't kill this fantasy and this lie that has been instilled like poison in their brain. This fantasy. All the movies, music, everything in society pushing this lie into young boys and young men's and all men's heads. Sorry about the glare again. Yeah, we get better as we go along, don't we? So, this lie that somewhere out there is a woman who will love you and will be a good wife or a good mother. In our current world, that does not exist anywhere. I personally know guys that just cannot deal with it. They come overseas, and even though they've been red-pilled, they still allow themselves to believe in this fantasy that somewhere out there is their special lady after being red-pilled. No, it does not exist. Okay, so as long as women have any power, and they do have way more power than they should be allowed in basically every country in the world, including Muslim or Sharia law countries, they have too much power. And as long as a wife has any leverage over or power over her husband, the entire relationship is ruined. The entire family is ruined. She will destroy it. Like an unsupervised kid at a candy store, they will make themselves sick. Or like a 4-year-old toddler driving a car, they will destroy themselves and anyone close to them. So, this is the reason that we cannot have any relationship with any woman anywhere in the world is because they have too much power. The whole world has been feminized to some degree, in any degree of feminization or girl power, to any degree. As long as there's some kind of equality, like legal equality for men and women, or for husbands and wives, the entire balance is ruined. It's all ruined. Because if men have these responsibilities, they also deserve the position of a leader. And if women are going to be protected, then they don't, there's a balance. There's a natural balance. It's called Mother Nature. It's called evolution. And so yeah, as long as women have any power, the relationship is over, and the family is ruined, and the society is ruined by extension. It will not work anywhere in the world, no matter where you go. Women have too much power everywhere. So it's only pump and dump. It's get in, get off, and get out only. No, you can't get married. You can't have a serious relationship. You cannot live together. This is MGTOW. Do not marry, do not live with them, and do not put them on a pedestal. Do not treat them special. Okay? Remember, this is the basic core tenets of MGTOW. Otherwise, you're not a MGTOW. Here we go. Next section. It's kind of vague. I'm not sure what you meant. But I think you mean, what you said is that you haven't been laid in years. You said something about it's been a few years. I think it means you haven't been laid in a few years, or you haven't had a girlfriend experience in a few years, but I think you mean you haven't been laid in a few years, is what I think. So it's kind of vague, but I think I'm going to go on that. So I've been there before. I had a 4-year dry spell in my mid-20s. In my sexual prime, I had a 4-year dry spell because, set that down, because, I dropped out of college when I was early 20s, and all my plans in life changed, and I became a wage slave. So I defaulted on my student loans. I had no guidance from anybody. I had nobody looking after me, nobody giving me advice, nobody to ask questions to, except all I had was abusive, toxic family, and that was my only resort. And I had to go. That was my dark ages. All my plans changed. I dropped out of college because of the psychological and emotional abuse that I went through my whole life, and then I got to a point where I burned myself out, and I could not think anymore. So schoolwork, I would sit in the library for hours, and I just couldn't think. Like I couldn't focus anymore on what I was doing. And when I was in class, I couldn't focus on it anymore. As I burned myself out because of the emotional and psychological trauma from my upbringing and from what I was going through after being ostracized from my family at a young age. So I burned myself out, dropped out of college, and then I defaulted on my student loans. I had nobody to give me any guidance. So I hit dark ages, and so basically, I was I was getting my wages garnished to the fullest extent of the law because of those student loans, and so I was making like $8 an hour, working third shift at a grocery store. I was an assistant manager, and I was making $8 an hour, and then they're taking so fullest extent of the law wage garnishments. That's 25% of my check before taxes. So that means it kind of works out to be like half my check is gone that way. So I was making $8 an hour to begin with, and that's so I was living in poverty for quite a few years, and then I stopped working at the grocery store, declared bankruptcy, and I started working at a printer. I basically was just working manual labor jobs, taking advice from awful, toxic family who didn't care about the long term for me. They only gave me short-term advice that makes me end up stuck in a rut. So I had a dark ages spell, and I was in a fraternity before when I was in college. So I got used to women being easy and giving it up very easily and coming to me, and me not having to work for it anymore. And after that, I was like, I'm never going back. I'm never going back to what these other pussy beggars are doing. I'm not going to do it anymore. I don't care what happens. I'm never going to make an ass of myself like that again. I've always had that kind of pride. This is way before I ever heard of MGTOW. This is like 2002 when I dropped out of college. And when I was in the fraternity is like when I was like, when I realized that. I always wanted to hold myself up to high standards, and that was a high standard for me, not being a pussy beggar. And I always knew that guys that do beg for pussy make themselves less attractive. So I didn't care. So I went 4 years without pussy. And if you don't count halfway through, I got my first ever hooker, my first ever lady of the night when I was totally hammered. This was when my huge drinking days kicked off during this dark ages. So I was totally drunk and I got my first ever hooker. Great experience. And I spent my rent money on it. I had nothing to live for. It was my dark ages. So I was just a total, so if you don't count the one hooker I got halfway through, it was a 4-year dry spell. So I've been there, and to me it's like riding a bike. It comes back to you. Once I started making a little bit more money and had a little bit more inspiration, things changed, and I started getting on a little bit of a roll. And so yeah, for me, it's like riding a bike, both the sex and the relationship part. And the relationship part, that's irrelevant, man, really, because there is no healthy relationship with any woman anywhere in the world unless she's directly taking orders from you, unless she keeps her mouth shut and stays where she belongs, in the kitchen and in the home. So no relationship anywhere in the world will be healthy or productive with any woman, because this situation doesn't exist anywhere unless she's directly taking orders from you, keeps her fucking mouth shut, and stays in the fucking kitchen. So that doesn't exist. So there's no relationship anymore. Forget the relationship. So basically now they're only here for our sexual entertainment. Since they've abandoned their roles of good mothers and good wives, sexual entertainment for men is the only thing remaining that they are good for. That's all that's left. Sexual or romantic entertainment with zero investment, zero serious investment. It's only get in, get off, and get out. That's all. So, 1 second here. Set that down. All right. Moving along now. Thailand versus Cambodia. My country. Okay. So, Thailand versus Cambodia. So if you're just traveling, it doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. If you're just traveling, unless you want to smoke weed, don't fucking try that in Thailand, okay? So that says a lot right there, okay? But all these countries, I hope you don't mind if I read this part, because like I said, sometimes it's better when I write it first instead of just randomly, spontaneously saying it off the top of my fucking head, motherfuckers. I'm enjoying the new channel here where I fucking swear like a motherfucker and see what happens, bitches. I'm not calling you a bitch. I'm saying those fucking bitches. All right. So if you're just traveling, it doesn't matter. It does not matter that much. All these countries are beautiful. All these countries in this whole region are beautiful and inexpensive. All are a dream come true for a Western man with some US dollars in his bank. If you need a cushy and safe environment, or the illusion of safety, like the pampered nanny state Western countries, if you don't want to experience something very different from your homeland, or less different, I should say, then Thailand. But if you want more of a wild, wild west vibe with definitely more personal freedom and slightly more friendly people, go to Cambodia. The main difference for these two places only comes into effect when it comes to long-term life here. Thailand makes it an incredible pain in the ass to stay there on a permanent basis. They make it very hard for long-term staying if you definitely have less personal freedoms there. More bureaucracy involvement in your life. Thailand is better for tourists who want everything safe and cushy and the illusion of safety. Cambodia is more like the Wild West and more like what Thailand used to be in the glory days. So I have very strong preference for this, especially because for me it's all about what's best in the long-term expat life. I'm no fucking tourist myself, and I don't like tourists anymore because I've seen so many of them. So I hope this mic is working today. I've had my concerns. It's cost me. So I'm not going to say how much it was. For a long-term life here, for me, it comes down to Ben Franklin's very important quote. Those who sacrifice liberty for security deserve neither and will lose both. I think this is one of the key foundations of why the West has fallen, and it perfectly sums up what happens whenever women are allowed to vote. They choose security over freedom or liberty every time. All day, every day, they choose security and safety. They give up rights in what they think is a trade-off to get more security from Big Daddy government and welfare state and all that fucking shit. They will trade off our freedoms every fucking chance they get if they think they can get some security out of it. So, they choose security over freedom when women are allowed to vote. And this is also what most Western men have become. They've been trained and infested, mostly raised by women and women teachers, just women surrounding them by their whole upbringing. Not much men in the picture, except as fucking servants. So men have been trained and infested with the female mindset and female mentality. So most Western men also want to be taken care of by government and police like the good little sheep that they are. All right. Still loving this freedom of having a microphone. I'm hoping it's working still. Find out after. But coming to close now, we're bringing it on home. Getting to the final section here. So these men, they also want to be taken care of by government and police like the good little sheep that they are. And this is why many men look down on Cambodia as opposed to Thailand. They want a cushy and safe life, and considering the greater levels of personal freedom they are giving up, it doesn't even cross their mind because they're infected with the bitch brain virus. And when you mention it to them, the greater personal freedom, they don't care. It's not important to them. They just want to feel like they are in a safe and cushy environment, which is also a lie. Because when you experience these two places, and I've lived here a while, I've lived in both for a long time, total 3 years now. I lived in Thailand for 1.5 years and Cambodia 1.5 years now already. So, you know which one I like. I like freedom. All right, so because when you experience these two places, and I've lived here a while, you will see Thailand is actually no safer than Cambodia. And this will be backed up by statistical evidence. But these big girl bitch brain males just want that illusion of safety and security in a more westernized, cushy, and pampered environment. No Wild West for these bitch brain males. I will close this out by once again referring to the founding father, Ben Franklin, and say, sorry about that. I'm still adjusting to the new microphone. That's probably a little bit loud when I clear my throat. I've been going on for a long time, but I'm going to close this out. Refer to Ben Franklin's brilliant quote. I'm going to say, choosing freedom and liberty over security is the very essence and definition of real manhood. And guys, If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance. And this is an underground resistance, and there we are under attack on all sides, but worst of all from within. Other bitchy fucking MGTOW channels that are trying to take out what they see as a competition rather than working together, making all of us big. All of us, when we work together, we all get better together. The rising tide raises all ships, but these fuckers only want to promote themselves and don't want to work with anybody else, especially not new guys like fucking me. All right, so yeah, man, we're getting attacked, and we're just gonna fucking keep dodging it, making new fucking channels, hit fucking back. Fuck you, motherfuckers. All right, so this is a fucking resistance. So this is how it works, baby. And hopefully this channel doesn't get taken down right away. If you are receiving this transmission, you are the fucking resistance. Take back your life, take back your freedom, and take back your motherfucking manhood.